Okay, so I'm just polishing up a little bit of this side of the jacket. I hate leaving it undone here, but I want to move on and get the face going with you guys. So I just put a little texture and continued with my shading to sort of blend through that side of the jacket. I'm sort of playing around here to decide if I like more of that texture or not. Okay, I kind of like it. Make it match on this side. This fur is pretty smooth, but to make it look furry, I think a little bit of the texture is not a bad idea. But I'll just blend over it so it's not too harsh. Don't want it to be too harsh. Okay, and I came in with a super sharp pencil also, and I got a little bit more of the details around the edges of the jacket, and we can come in here and get more right there. And I'm just also softening up a little bit this bright highlight. I don't think I needed it quite as bright as I had it. Okay. All right, guys, it's time for the face. So for your face, we need to make a recipe. You can really do whatever skin color you want to do here. I can do her with a more light skin color. I can do it with a more dark skin color. We'll be doing a variety of skin tones in the class for demos, and especially by request. If there's anything in particular you guys like or want to draw, if you want to show me some reference photos, I will be drawing that. Oh, that one's kind of nice, kind of like that. Okay, that's not bad at all. Any of these will work. We just have to make our recipe. Let me see what else I've got. I ended up buying, I'll show you on the screen, I ended up buying a set of just skin colors. Some of them are nice, some of them are a little weird, but it's kind of nice having some extra skin colors because the sets of markers that you buy, they're really bright. They tend to be a little bit more saturated, and so you don't have as many good skin colors. Okay, I kind of like that. Let me just see. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this middle one. Okay, so that was, what was that? I think it was this one. I think it was this one. Okay, let me put everything away because I'm making a mess over here. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna straighten up my desk. You guys should see. When I'm working, it's just like there's stuff everywhere. Hang on, I'm gonna straighten up. Okay, here we go with the face. So I'm gonna go with this brown, second coat for shadows. And then I need some shading, which I'm going to go with this dark brown to get some shadows on here. Now, I like a color that pops. Like if you remember when I was doing the blue fur, I picked a pencil color that really stood out against my pen. For faces, I still do that, but sometimes I also like a color that's a little more gentle, okay? So that way your shadows aren't too stressful when you do this. So I'm going to use this guy, this guy, this guy for the darker shadows. Okay, I think that'll work fine. These are chocolate and burnt ochre, if you're, if you care. I'm gonna want white for some shine. And guys, I'm gonna put a little pink on her cheeks, because why not, right? Okay, so this is my recipe for the face. While I'm at it, let me make a recipe for her hair. No, I'll do the face first. Okay, so as we discussed, we don't want a lot of pencil lines on here, especially if you do a lighter skin tone. Those pencil lines are going to show up and they're actually going to make it look really gray. Okay, now what I'm about to do is going to scare everybody. Are you ready to be scared? This is truly how I do this, okay? Now, I'm going to go right over everything because I don't want to fuss with this. If I fuss with this, her eye, and try to leave the whites of her eyes, it's going to look crazy. Instead, I'm just going to fill in her entire face. And this is where people are like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm just going to fill in her entire face. I'm going to fill in her ears. I'm going to fill in both ears. And before you put this pen away, guys, get her neck, but be careful because we want to get it a little darker and I don't want it to bleed up. If you can leave a little margin between her neck and her face so it doesn't bleed, that's kind of nice. We're going to get, before we put this pen away, I'm going to get her hands, because sometimes what happens is you do her face, you're so happy, you finish the face, you got that part done, you put your pens away, and then you're like, wait, what color was that skin tone? Because you still need it to get the hands. Okay, so I'm going to get her hands, I'm going to get this hand, And while I'm still holding this marker, I'm going to take the chisel tip and I'm going to go ahead and get a little extra shadow here, or maybe a little extra shadow here, okay, and just start darkening up some areas with the second coat of marker. Let's come back up here, maybe a third coat, maybe a coat in her ear, a little more in her ear. Okay, now, you want to fill in the face relatively quickly because the faster you go, the less streaks you're going to get. But the fact is, you're going to get some streaks. I don't want you to stress out about that. It's simply part of the way it goes with markers. Even good quality markers, you tend to get a little streaks. Okay, now what I'm doing is a second coat. And I'm going to put a second coat in the same places we shaded before. Let me pull back my drawing, okay, so you guys can see. When I did it in pencil, I got around her eye, a little bit on this side, on the side of her face here. I got her upper lip and these cute little smile lines. If you did it once in pencil, you can do it again in marker and colored pencil, I promise you. If you want to have this right next to you, just to help you remember where those shadows are, do it. And you also have your reference photo. So you have all of the intel that you need to get this face shaded. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put a second coat of marker right there. I'm going to wrap right around this little cheekbone, just like I did on the other drawing. And if it feels a little harsh, do not panic. Don't panic. You're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. This is the part. People do this, and then they're like, oh my God. No, you're going to be okay. Put a little bit here. Okay, now, if I would even do more with the marker, but I just know it stresses people. So I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to go ahead and get my not too dark brown. Okay, if you've got a brown that's a little bit similar to your marker color, this, or to like maybe the second coat of your marker color, this is a nice way to blend out any streakiness. You're just going to gently go over this with a nice sharp pencil, bring it down right along her nose, blend in around the cheek, and we're just going to soften everything up. Okay, take your time with this. Keep looking at that reference photo. I have her right next to me. I'm going to go ahead and get her upper lip. You know how to draw this, guys. You already drew it once. You can do it again, I promise. I'm going to get underneath her little smile where that shadow is on her lower lip. And I'm just going to bring that out, and I'm going to blend this down. I'm going to blend around here. I'm trying to keep looking at my reference photo so that I don't do anything too weird here. I don't want to go rogue. I don't want to be guessing. I want to really try to see what's happening on her face and try to capture it. Now, if it doesn't look like her, that's fine. That's no problem, guys. It's going to look like a cute kid, even if it doesn't look like this exact kid. And again, like, I don't put that kind of pressure on myself. I don't think I'm that kind of artist who can draw somebody exactly like a photo. It's too much pressure. I don't even want to try. I mean, I do want to try, but I'm not gonna be mad if I just end up with something that looks like a nice human, even if it's not the exact human. Okay, I'm gonna stop with this one for now. I'm gonna go and get my dark brown, and I'm gonna pop some shadows in a few key places. Okay, so the key is this pencil needs to be dark because we really need to use it to kind of, now that we've done the gist of things, you can kind of come in and you can sort of get like the opening of the mouth. I can sharpen it up really well, and I can start to get her nose. And then just wait, once we get the eyes in here, then it's all going to start to make more sense. So you can do a little bit of it. I go back and forth with outlines on my illustrations, especially for the children. I think it can actually be kind of fun to put outlines on them. Some of my examples have it, some don't. I will be showing you guys some more examples. Okay, so she needs the eyes. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to darken up the inside of her eyes. I think I'm going to go for a sharp black because I want them to really stand out. And I'm just going to leave a little bit where the highlight is. Oh my gosh, doesn't that make a huge difference? I haven't even drawn the outside of her eye. I'm going to do the other side too. Hang on. I'm seeing all these little things that I just want to perfect. There's more to do, guys, but anyway. Let me get the other side. The second eye is always the hardest for me to try to make it match. And now with my black colored pencil, I need to outline her eyes. Okay, you've done this with a regular drawing pencil. You're just gonna come in here and you're gonna try to do it now with a colored pencil. And we'll get that nice little crease over her eye, get this corner, get that corner, and see if we can just kind of bring her to life a little bit. There we go. See if I can get it. Oh, that's the hard part. Okay, now I don't want her to look like she's wearing makeup, so I don't want to go too dark around her eyes. Okay. Especially not with black. You know, I could have done all that with a dark brown if I wanted to. Let me come in here and get her eyebrows. Be careful with the eyebrows on kids. You don't want them to be too dark. You don't want them to be too heavy, or they will look definitely older than maybe you wanted them. Okay, let's now do a couple more things that I think are kind of fun. I'm gonna get my white. Okay, this is maybe my favorite part, is when you come in here at the end. No, we're not quite at the end, but we're getting there. Come in at the end, towards the end, and take a white. Okay, and let's just make her nose shine. Let's just give her a little highlight on her lip. Okay, let's come back in and bring her eyes back to light. As long as you didn't put a lot of colored pencil over her eyes, look at how effective this white Prismacolor is at bringing those eyeballs back to life. That's why I don't stress about preserving the white of the eyes early on. It's simply not worth the trouble when I know I can bring it back later. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit on her forehead. Now, that's reading really bright on the screen, but in real life, it's actually more subtle. I'll erase it just so that on the screen you see that it's not, I don't want it to look that bright. I'll get a little bit on her chin. We can get a little bit on her cheeks. Okay, you can pop anything you want to bring back with some white, and I just love it. I think it's so much fun. Oh my gosh, this is the fun part for me. And just know faces, they are, for most people, when you first start, it's the scariest part, but take it one step at a time. Try this method that I'm going step by step and see if you can make it work. Just remember, wash it all over with marker. I'm going to give her a little pink. I'm going to give her a little pink here, give her a little pink there. Okay, and maybe she's done. Maybe her face is done. Okay, it's at 12 minutes and a half right now. I think I'm going to do hair as a separate one. The hair with color is super fun and super quick, so hopefully that'll be a short video. I still think there's little things I'd like to touch up here, but hopefully this gets you started. So just to summarize, guys, just to summarize, make your recipe. For this face, I was able to do everything with one marker, a second coat of that marker to make it really dark. I added in 2 shades of brown, but if you only have one that works with your marker, that's fine. Just make sure it shows that's a little darker than your marker. I used some black to draw in her eyes. I used some white to pop in some shine, and I used some pink for funsies. Okay, so that was my face. And darker skin tones and lighter skin tones are really going to follow very similar rules. We'll do more demos later in the class.